Unless you have been living under a rock the past week, you have likely heard about the Khafray Project discovery, where Italian researchers claim to have uncovered a vast underground city which stretches more than 4,000 feet directly underneath the Pyramids of Giza, making them 10 times larger than the pyramids themselves. The bombshell claim, which many so-called experts claim to have already debunked, comes from a study that used radar pulses to create high-resolution images deep into the ground beneath the structures, the same way sonar radar is used to map the depths of the ocean. The paper, which has not been peer-reviewed by independent experts, found 8 vertical cylinder-shaped structures extending more than 2,100 feet below the Khafray Pyramid and more unknown structures 4,000 feet deeper. The work by Corrado Malanga from Italy's University of Pisa and Egyptologist Armando May and Filippo Biondi with the University of Strathclyde in Scotland has only been released during an in-person briefing in Italy and is yet to be published in a scientific journal where it would need to be analyzed by independent experts. Malanga is a ufologist and has appeared on YouTube shows about aliens, where he has discussed his more than decade-long career of studying UFO sightings in Italy. Biondi, on the other hand, specializes in radar technology, and May is a researcher in pre-dynastic Egyptology. Malanga and Biondi published a separate peer-reviewed paper in October 2022 in the scientific journal Remote Sensing, which found hidden rooms and ramps inside Khafray, along with evidence of a thermal anomaly near the pyramid's base. The new study used similar technology but got a boost from a satellite orbiting Earth. The new radar technique works by combining satellite radar data with tiny vibrations from naturally occurring seismic movements to construct three-dimensional images of what lies beneath the surface of the Earth without doing any physical digging. Nicole Ciccolo, the project's spokesperson, said, "A vast underground city has been discovered beneath the pyramids. The groundbreaking study has redefined the boundaries of satellite data analysis and archaeological exploration. The cylinder-shaped structures are arranged in 2 parallel rows and surrounded by descending spiral pathways." Ciccolo said the cylinder structures were found underneath each of the 3 pyramids and appeared to serve as access points to this interconnected underground system. The existence of vast chambers beneath the Earth's surface, comparable in size to the pyramids themselves, have a remarkably strong correlation between the legendary Halls of Amenti. These new archaeological findings could redefine our understanding of the sacred topography of ancient Egypt, providing spatial coordinates for previously unknown and unexplored subterranean structures. The press release described the findings as groundbreaking, and if true, could rewrite the history of ancient Egypt. However, independent experts have raised serious concerns about the study. Professor Lawrence Conyers, a radar expert at the University of Denver who focuses on archaeology, has declared that it is not possible for the technology to penetrate that deeply into the ground, making the idea of an underground city a huge exaggeration. Professor Conyers said it is conceivable there are small structures, such as shafts and chambers, beneath the pyramids that existed before they were built because the site was special to ancient people. He highlighted how the Mayans and other people in ancient Mesoamerica often built pyramids on top of the entrances of caves or caverns that had ceremonial meaning to them. Despite the skepticism, Professor Conyers added that the only way to prove the discoveries to be true would be targeted excavations. My take is that as long as authors are not making things up and that their basic methods are correct, their interpretations should be given a look by all who care about the site. We can quibble about interpretations, and that is called science, but the basic methods need to be solid. It is no surprise that Zahi Hawass has jumped into the fray with this statement. I would like to make a statement regarding the news that was published all over the world by a group of amateurs. The news was under the Pyramid of Khafray at Giza. They found a platform topped with pillars. All this information is completely wrong and has absolutely no scientific basis. In addition, the Ministry of Tourism and Antiquity did not give permission to any individuals or institutions to work inside or outside the second pyramid. In addition, the claim that a radar was used inside the pyramid is false. These people who announced this wrong information, they used techniques that are not approved nor validated. The details announced would never have been seen by using this technique. Ironically, the reaction of the infamous Zahi Hawass has galvanized many people in the belief that if he so strenuously denies the discovery's validity, then there must be some actual validity after all. Of course, mainstream's inevitable knee-jerk reaction to this potential discovery will be to debunk it. Otherwise, the entire historical paradigm on which they have predicated their careers will collapse and expose the hypocrisy of Egyptology as a whole. With that said, peer review of this potentially earth-shattering discovery is an absolute necessity, because if it can be corroborated and even replicated, the debunkers will have nowhere left to hide. Of particular interest to the archive is the reference made by Nicole Ciccolo to the Halls of Amenti. Our regular viewers are no doubt familiar with the Halls of Amenti. In the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, the entire second tablet is devoted to a description of this mystical place. We have included the entire tablet as a supplement to this video, and a link is provided in the description to the complete narration of the tablets. Things begin to get really interesting when we connect the dots of this recent discovery with the Emerald Tablets, Atlantis, and the ancient astronaut hypothesis as it relates to the Anunnaki. The Emerald Tablets are reportedly written by Thoth, who is described as an Atlantean in the text. Of course, many of you know that Thoth is also known as Ningish-Zida, son of Enki. And many of you may also know that it was Zechariah Sitchin who prolifically explained the correlations of the ancient Sumerian deities to the ancient Egyptian deities. Sitchin posited that according to ancient texts, Ningish-Zida was the architect of the Great Pyramid. This was also stated in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. In several of his works, Sitchin explains the ancient wars between the Enki clan and the Enlil clan. One of the subsequent results of these conflicts was the relocation of Thoth to the New World, specifically Mesoamerica and South America. What many of you may not know is that Sitchin provided a cursory correlation between Thoth and Atlantis. This happened late in his career when he published the Earth Chronicles Expeditions, Journeys to the Mythical Past in March 2004. Chapter 3 is devoted entirely to the postulation that Atlantis was located across the Atlantic beyond the Pillars of Hercules, also known as the Straits of Gibraltar today. It is not within the scope of this particular video to connect all the dots, but we wanted to at least provide the dots, so to speak. When you consider the announcement of this new discovery as possible evidence of a highly technological lost civilization, you must immediately also consider this structure was actually built by the Anunnaki. We strongly encourage our viewers to read Chapter 3 of the Earth Chronicles Expeditions because it will put this most recent discovery into a much more enlightening context. This discovery may not only prove that the mainstream's historical paradigm is a complete facade, but it may very well prove the tales of the Anunnaki were no fiction or myth and instead very true, actual history. Deep in Earth's heart lie the Halls of Amenti, far neath the islands of sunken Atlantis, halls of the dead and halls of the living, bathed in fire of the infinite all. Far in a past time, lost in the space-time, the children of light looked down on the world. Seeing the children of men in their bondage, bound by the force that came from beyond, knew they that only by freedom from bondage could man ever rise from earth to the sun. Down they descended and created bodies, taking the semblances of men as their own. The masters of everything said after their forming, "We are they who were formed from the space dust, partaking of life from the infinite all, living in the world as children of men, like and yet unlike the children of men." Then for a dwelling place far 'neath the earth crust blasted great spaces they by their power, spaces apart from the children of men, surrounded them by forces and power, shielded from harm they the halls of the dead. Side by side then placed they other spaces, filled them with life and with light from above. Builded they then the halls of Amenti, that they might dwell eternally there, living with life to eternity's end. 32 were there of the children, sons of lights who had come among men, seeking to free from the bondage of darkness those who were bound by the force from beyond. Deep in the halls of life grew a flower, flaming, expanding, driving backward the night. Placed in the center a ray of great potence, life-giving, light-giving, filling with power all who came near it. Placed they around it thrones 32, places for each of the children of light, placed so that they were bathed in the radiance filled with the life from the eternal light. There, time after time, placed they their first created bodies so that they might be filled with the spirit of life. 100 years out of each 1,000 must the life-giving light flame forth on their bodies, quickening, awakening the spirit of life. There, in the circle from eon to eon, sit the great masters, living a life not known among men. There, in the halls of life, they lie sleeping. Free flows their soul through the bodies of men. Time after time, while their bodies lie sleeping, incarnate they in the bodies of men, teaching and guiding onward and upward, out of the darkness into the light. There in the hall of life, filled with their wisdom, known not to the races of man, living forever 'neath the cold fire of life, sit the children of light. Times there are when they awaken, come from the depths to be lights among men, infinite they among finite. He who by progress has grown from the darkness, lifted himself from the night into light, free is he made of the halls of Amenti, free of the flower of light and of life. Guided he then by wisdom and knowledge, passes from men to the master of life. There he may dwell as one with the masters, free from the bonds of the darkness of night. Seated within the flower of radiance sit 7 lords from the space-times above us, helping and guiding through infinite wisdom the pathway through the time of the children of men. Mighty and strange they, veiled with their power, silent, all-knowing, drawing the life force, different, yet one with the children of men. Aye, different, and yet one with the children of light. Custodians and watchers of the force of man's bondage, ready to loose when the light has been reached. First and most mighty sits the veiled presence, Lord of Lords, the infinite Nine, over the other from each cosmic cycle, weighing and watching the progress of men. Under he sits the Lord of the cycles, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, each with his mission, each with his power, guiding, directing the destiny of man. There sit they, mighty and potent, free of all time and space. Not of this world they, yet akin to it, elder brothers they of the children of men, judging and weighing, they with their wisdom, watching the progress of light among men. There before them was I led by the dweller, watched him blend with one from above. Then from he came forth a voice saying, Great art thou, Thoth, among children of men, free henceforth of the halls of Amenti, master of life among children of men. Taste not of death except as thou wilt, drink thou of life to eternity's end. Henceforth forever is life, thine for the taking. Henceforth is death at the call of thy hand. Dwell here or leave here when thou desireth. Free is Amenti to the Son of Man. Take thou up life in what form thou desireth, child of the light that has grown among men. Choose thou thy work, for all must labor, never be free from the pathway of light. One step thou hast gained on the long pathway upward, infinite now is the mountain of light. Each step thou taketh but heightens the mountain, all of thy progress but lengthens the goal. Approach ye ever the infinite wisdom, ever before thee recedes the goal. Free are ye made now of the halls of Amenti to walk hand in hand with the lords of the world, one in one purpose, working together, bringers of light to the children of men. Then from his throne came one of his masters, taking my hand and leading me onward through all the halls of the deep hidden land. Led he me through the halls of Amenti, showing the mysteries that are known not to man. Through the dark passage, downward he led me, into the hall where sits the dark death. Vast as space lay the great hall before me, walled by darkness but yet filled with light. Before me arose a great throne of darkness, veiled on it sat a figure of night. Darker than darkness sat the great figure, dark with a darkness not of the night. Before it then paused the Master, speaking the word that brings about life, saying, O Master of darkness, guide of the way from life unto life, before thee I bring a son of the morning. Touch him not ever with the power of night. Call not his flame to the darkness of night. Know him and see him, one of our brothers, lifted from darkness into the light. Release thou his flame from its bondage, free let it flame through the darkness of night. Raised then the hand of the figure, forth came a flame that grew clear and bright, rolled back swiftly the curtain of darkness, unveiled the hall from the darkness of night. Then grew in the great space before me flame after flame from the veil of the night. Uncounted millions leaped they before me, some flaming forth as flowers of fire. Others there were that shed a dim radiance, flowing but faintly from out of the night. Some there were that faded swiftly, others that grew from a small spark of light, each surrounded by its dim veil of darkness, yet flaming with light that could never be quenched. Coming and going like fireflies in springtime, filled they with space, with light and with life. I, death, come, and yet I remain not, for life eternal exists in thee all, only an obstacle I in the pathway, quick to be conquered by the infinite light. Awaken, O flame that burns ever inward, flame forth and conquer the veil of the night. Then in the midst of the flames in the darkness grew there one that drove forth the night, flaming, expanding, ever brighter, until at last was nothing but light. Then spoke my guide, the voice of the Master. See your own soul as it grows in the light, free now forever from the Lord of the night. Forward he led me through many great spaces filled with the mysteries of the children of light, mysteries that man may never yet know of until he, too, is a son of the light. Backward then he led me into the light of the hall of the light. Knelt I then before the great masters, lords of all from the cycles above. Spoke he then with words of great power, saying, Thou hast been made free of the halls of Amenti. Choose thou thy work among the children of men. Then spoke I, O great Master, let me be a teacher of men, leading them onward and upward until they too are lights among men, freed from the veil of the night that surrounds them, flaming with light that shall shine among men. Spoke to me then the voice, Go as ye will, so be it decreed. Master are ye of your destiny, free to take or reject at will. Take ye the power, take ye the wisdom. Shine as a light among the children of men. Upward then led me the dweller. Dwelt I again among children of men, teaching and showing some of my wisdom. Son of the light, a fire among men. Now again I tread the path downward, seeking the light in the darkness of night. Hold ye and keep ye, preserve my record. Guide shall it be to the children of men.